What's going on YouTube? It's MrBeefBrain and welcome to the walkthrough of Darksouls Remastered. Yo with mail. Now if you're playing for the first time, I suggest following along with this walkthrough as best you can. I'm going to be starting out with the warrior class because it has the best stat allotment for what we're going for. For our starting gifts, head on down to the Master Key. And for my physique, I'm going to go very slim, so I like to fit in all those tight spaces. Be a farmer with some nice wild, light brown hair. Now you can spend some more time in character customization if you like. It is all cosmetic. The only thing that really matters here is your class and your gift. I recommend starting with the Master Key. Most of the other gifts don't have much of a long-term purpose, as well as if you're trying to follow other guides on YouTube, most individuals start with the Master Key. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone skins. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side. Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world.
I just want to say that sounds like a horrible situation for taxpayers.
This is your fate.
Also, all of the rats in this game are huge, but in the cutscenes, there's all these little ones. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is touch the glowy butt, get our dungeon cell key, and get on out of here. Go ahead and stop to read all the messages on your way out if this is your first time through. Figure out a little bit on how to play. We are just going to run down this hallway. Take a bad boy. And climb up this shiny little ladder. Now here we have our very first bonfire. And through that door we have the first boss. Beat this boss with this fancy schmancy little broken straight sword. It'll do 2 damage per hit, and he's got a fair amount of health. If you do so, you'll be rewarded with the Demon's Great Hammer. It's a pretty beefy strength weapon, but as you can see, it would take quite a while. And I'm going to let him hit me here. So you have no healing, you do that much damage. If you want to take your time and do that, go ahead. But we're going to run through this little gate. It'll close behind us, head down to our next bonfire. So if you die, you end up at the last bonfire that you rested at. So now, if we die, here we will be. Heading on out this way, we're going to collect our starting class items. So these items here change depending on the starting class you picked. Since we started with the warrior class, we're going to get our sword and shield. So here I've got my shield, and this should be my sword. Go ahead and put that on. Now shields in this game are pretty powerful. This shield happens to be a 100% physical defense shield. It'll block all physical damage incoming, with just a little bit of drain to our stamina. Nothing to the left here. I know there's a shiny item, you can't get it yet. We'll come back for it later in the walkthrough. Head up these stairs, and then back down these stairs because we can. Now through this wall we have Oscar, our first NPC.
Oh. You.
I'm going to go ahead and skip through dialogue of most of our NPCs in this game.
Thank goodness.
I do recommend that you listen to it if it's your first time through. It gives you a much better picture of what's going on in the game. You're not forced into the lore of Dark Souls, but it is very interesting if you get caught up in it. But basically, Oscar here is going to tell us to carry the boats and give us some nice orange milk.
And this. Now
Our orange milk,
farewell.
filled in the Estus flask, is going to be our primary source of healing in the game. So after you give us that key, we're just going to real quick come down back to this bonfire. The reason we're doing this is if you die to the boss, it's just a little bit shorter of a run You can go through those doors and just fight him like a man, or fight him like a man who knows parkour. Come on up this way. Using that east key from Oscar, we can open up this gate. Head on this way. Take out a couple of base hollows. Look at that. Now, through this fog wall is the boss. Before we head over there, we're going to take a look at a slightly more upgraded version of a hollow. And what I tried to do there is parry. I happen to be exceptionally poor at parry. But, not a bad place to practice it. This guy just has such a long wind-up on his attack. I can't stand it. But, ideally, you hit L2 or LT, whatever your preferred method, and you will be able to smack away his weapon and get a nice critical hit. This is the door to that little shiny item you saw earlier that she can't get to for now. Drink us some yummy milk and go through here. So cute! Alright. Now we're going to step off, do a plunging attack, and take out much more of his health. Now with this boss, the easiest thing to do is stick to his right leg. He's going to do some swinging attacks. You want to roll just as they're about to hit you, and then he can also do this butt bounce. I timed it fairly poorly there, but as you can see, floats in the air for a bit, comes down, does a decent chunk of damage. There we go. And we should finish him off. So, that's it. First boss is dead. If you did die to the boss, you can just walk back through those doors, or come back up and around and drop on him, like we did, to get some good damage. You can hear those footsteps, that's just your mom. Alright, so next thing we're going to do, head up this way, make a hard left, and get us a soul item. You'll be able to consume these to increase the amount of souls. It's your currency for the game. You can use it to level up, upgrade your weapons, and buy all sorts of fancy-schmancy items.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. Leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
Convenient. Alright, so Big Crow took us to a bonfire here in FireLink Shrine. This is the primary hub of the game. We'll find several shortcuts throughout the game that are going to lead right back to here, and you can call this place home. So, first thing we're going to do, rest the bonfire and spend our souls to level on up. I'm going to start by leveling my strength up to 16, as it is the minimum strength requirement for the weapon I would like to use. And we're going to get that weapon very shortly. Walking over here, we have old Depresso Dan. Now I'm going to skip through his dialogue, but if it's your first time through, I do recommend talking to him. He's going to give you all sorts of details about what you're doing and why. Come on over to this well for 3 humanity. Run up through this archway. This place can be really confusing your first few times through, but spend some time here and you'll know it like the back of your hand. We're going to come up through the rightmost archway. How funny is that? And get ourselves 6 firebombs. Head back on out through the one we almost went through. And over here we got old Big Chungus Ben. We're going to exhaust his dialogue for a rusted coin. And then if you're running a faith build, you'll be able to purchase miracles from him. Oh, a cop.
I have to await.
It'll
So
rust.
what if I would?
Yes, that would really make me
well.
happy if you taught me some miracles. I'm going to go ahead and join his covenant. Not necessarily going to stay with this covenant, we're just going to get access
Now
to
let
all
me
the covenants
share
within the
my
game.
Only
Alright, sweet. So from him, if you are running a faith build, again, you can purchase miracles and talismans. We are not interested in that on this current build. However, we are going to learn his gesture. Shrug. Because he don't know where to get a good haircut. Look at that boy.
come
All right.
again. The effect.
Next, we're going to run up these stairs here. And then these stairs here. And grab ourselves another soul item. And we'll turn right back around. Down the scary hole. Turn around. And squeeze your chubby little body through this tunnel. After dropping down through here, you got 4 chests. This first one is going to have 4 cracked red eye orbs. You can use this to invade other players' worlds. You want to be a meanie-bo-meanie, but it is one of the most fun aspects of Dark Souls. Here we got the Morning Star and a Talisman. Morning Star is a pretty good starting weapon. It has bleed damage as well. And then we've got 6 Homeward Bones, and this last one should be 4 more thingamabobs. Ah, yes, the thingamabobs. Alright, so this next part will be a little bit difficult. We're going to drop down and do a bit of a suicide run. So, despite the fact that it's a suicide run, I'm going to try to go nice and slow and show you the exact route we want to take. First thing we're going for is that item there. It's going to be a soul item. These skeletons are going to come to life. Don't try to fight them right now. You won't do a lot of damage and they will beat you. So, we got our soul item. Here we've got a winged spear. And next we're grabbing our weapon of choice for this run through. At least the beginning, the Byhander. Come on down. This item, I hate it. It's the binoculars. We're getting all the items. There's the binoculars. But the reason I hate it is because it's the reason you die doing this suicide run. Alright, but if we stick tight to the left, run back through the way we came. And we're going to go up these stairs. Ooh. All the way. Look at that crow's butt. Come through this door. Run all the way around here. And grab ourselves another soul item. Let's see that. Drop down. And we're going to hit back to the bonfire just to reset our enemies. And then we're actually going to run through there one more time to grab a couple more items. So, as we sit down, all of the enemies that we've previously killed come back to life. However, all of the ones that were up and chasing us are also now lying down. We're going to come through that archway, head this direction, and we've got just a couple more items to grab. So we've got our soul item here, and then we have a shield down that way. Let's roll off, grab the large soul lost undead, run this way, grab our round shield, and out and around. This time, instead of coming up those stairs, we are going to go to the right here, through this archway, grab ourselves one more soul item, drop down, and head back to the bonfire. Now, well, actually, disregard. Alright, the bonfire was not lit for a second. That was because a skeleton had followed us back, and usually you would have to fight any enemy that follows you back to the bonfire before it rekindles. However, that skeleton must have fallen off the ledge because it is back up. So, that's most of the items here in FireLink, and we are going to venture on over to our next area. As I had mentioned, we picked up the Vihander. So this, you can see, does quite a bit more damage. However, there's a minus 105, and our strength requirement is 24. In this game, you need to take your strength, multiply it by 1.5, and if you use 2 hands, you can wield that weapon. So, for example, I put on this Vihander. You got that big X there, it means you can't swing it. 2 hands, now we swing. And you'll also notice that my rolls slowed down quite a bit. This is because my equip load is higher than 50% of what my maximum is. So my maximum is 52, my equip load is 26.4. So in this case, I should actually only have to remove helmet, and I can 2 hands, fast roll. Now for most people, using a shield right at the beginning is not a bad idea. And just for example's sake, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'll switch back over to this Vihander shortly. So, enemy attacks, you hit. And this is a pretty good strategy for a lot of the basic hollows. Keeps you from taking damage. It's not the most flashy, however, it is effective. And in the long run, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to want to have quite a bit of Estus. So, don't take unnecessary hits. As you get comfortable with the game, you might be a little bit more liberal with that. Kick. Let's try to parry this guy. There we go. So there's a parry. Walk up to him, and there is our riposte. So there is a shield I'll be getting soon that makes it quite a bit easier to do that. I'm not great at parrying, so I like to get that shield. Now we're going to make our way down onto this bridge. If you want to have decent health, you can walk right off, and as long as you're tight to the wall, you will not fall. You can also make it here just by jumping this gap, but it can be a little scary for your first time, so that's a surefire way to make it. Right here we have the Ring of Sacrifice. So, just go into our inventory quick, show you where it goes. The Ring of Sacrifice, when you put this on, if you die, you do not lose any of your souls. Which is great, but the ring breaks. So, best time to use that is when you are about to enter an area maybe you don't know much about, or you're maybe entering a boss fight and you have lots of souls. You just tap that slot, put that ring on, and you're good to go. Alright. Just gonna heal up quick. Oop. Try not to take unnecessary risks in that game. Alright. So, he's dead, and we've got one more soul item. So with that guy out of the way, we're going to head up these stairs and make our way to the next spot. One more soul item, and we should have a fancy schmancy raz. I told you, they're way smaller in the cutscenes. Now what you see there is a poison status affliction, so if he hits me again, this gets a good hit on me, I will start taking damage over time, which is a real pain this early on in the game. There's another soul lost undead. And we are going to run this way. Can't go through that gate just yet. Go through here. Up the stairs. And welcome to Undead Burg. So, we're going to take on a few basic hollows, get to our next spawn fire, and we will wrap up the first episode there. Feel free to explore, but don't worry, we are going to be coming back to this spot, so you get all of the items in the most efficient manner possible. Get another Soul of the Lost Undead. You can't make this jump right now. You can try, but you can't do it. You can kill this dragon if he wants to fight us. chicken. Just continuing to use that same sort of strategy. Single them out. Oop. Oh, let's back up so we can't get hit by the arrows. Again, don't take unnecessary risks. If your health gets low, just back on up and heal. There we go. Sweet. Alright. Now we're just gonna head on up here. We'll open this door, get ourselves the wooden shield. Kill this cutie pie. And sit back down at our next bonfire.